Inanu si Terence Diego, tautau na Alonso, za 28 anos.
Terence can be found at the Harao Academy located in the Chamorro village in Hagåtña, not only teaching classes, but attending classes as well. It's something he's been doing for almost 2 years.
My situation is pretty unique. A lot of the students I have during times of the day might just be my classmates, and it's very rewarding.
Known as Saina Osgun to his students, Diego says the desire to further his Chamorro language knowledge was always there, but it wasn't until he found out that Harao was offering adult immersion classes.
I was invited by a friend of mine, John Kaminga. He had a party at his house, a little barbecue, and it was a very different kind of party because the generation I'm a part of and John, they started speaking Chamorro, and so that was really unusual. I mean, in a good way, because I had the question. I was like, why are you guys, speaking Chamorro? And so he led me in on the details and told me that they just started classes, and so I've been going ever since.
He says within his household, Chamorro was always present among family, but it wasn't the main language.
Just like a lot of southern homes, it was still dominantly English. And, that's not to say anything to my parents or to my grandparents especially, but I'm definitely using that to my advantage, their knowledge, especially my grandparents. 3 of my 4 grandparents are still alive, and, at age 28, that's it's very rare. So I've decided to stop taking that for granted.
At Harao, Diego teaches the Panexai, which are the 11 to 15-year-old kids.
After the classes that I was taking under San Guinifi, I was able to put it to good use and practice it and refine it.
Diego says learning the Chamorro language and being able to share what he has learned has opened so many doors for him.
I've communicated with so many of the Manamko. I'm actually very interested in carving and learning how to cut and shells and all that. And through learning how to speak Chamorro, or the Chamorro at least that I already know, I've communicated with a lot of carvers that know how to speak Chamorro, and so that was the one important thing for me. Before I wanted to get into carving, I wanted to learn how to speak Chamorro because a lot of our speakers nowadays are Manamko, and in about 10 to 20 years, we always hear that a lot. 10 to 20 years, Manamko are gonna pass on, and they're dominantly the majority of our speakers. So that's one of the things I wanted to make sure I had under my belt.
And while he has high hopes for his generation, he continues to encourage them to learn the language and not take it for granted.
Coming off of FESPAC and the cultural renaissance, I think that word's been floating around a lot. I'm very happy to say that I see a lot of people my generation coming out and doing things and being proactive, and I'm so glad for that. This generation and the ones underneath, we're all that's going to be left, and so we need to realize, I think we really need to realize that the language is the most important before anything else. Then it can only help to better whatever it is you're practicing.
And for those who are older and who think they can't learn the Chamorro language or feel that maybe it's too late,
the generation under the Manamko, they're also, they have their advantage, they have their own advantage. They themselves understand way more than my generation beneath. They hear it way more, and so they should also take the same advantage and be proactive, whatever their job is, whatever they do for their hobby, their spare time, find some way to incorporate Chamorro.